Good morning everyone. In the previous class, as we have discussed about the two types of the heterotroph, first one we have discussed parasites and secondly we have discussed saprophytes. In this class we are going to study about insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants. In this world, we have always seen that frogs, lizards, many of the animals, they feed upon insect for their food. Have you ever heard that the plants also depend upon the animals to get food? Yes, actually there are few plants that depend upon the animals for their food, and that we call it as the insectivorous plant. For example, pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, bladderwort, sundew. So these plants actually they eat insect, and hence we also call these plants as the carnivorous plants. They are green in color and are capable of making their own food by the help of photosynthesis, but they still trap insect and digest to meet their nitrogen requirement, because the soil on which these plants grow, they lacks in nitrogen, means they are the soil, that soil is has deficiency of nitrogens. So we can also see these plants as partial heterotrophs, as they follow both the modes of nutrition, because they are partial heterotrophs, and one side they are green in color and can prepare their own food. I'll show you the picture over here of Venus flytrap. This is the picture of Venus flytrap. When the insects sit on the leaf of this plant, it gets easily trapped and is digested by this plant. I'll show you the picture of the pitcher plant. Actually, the insectivorous plants, they have the special modified structure to catch insect. Now the word pitcher itself says it has the leaf lamina. In the pitcher plant, it's like a shape of a pitcher. The leaf lamina is modified to form a pitcher like structure, and the tip of the leaf, it is modified in the form of a lid. You can see here it acts like a lid which can be open or close, means when the insect will sit here, once the insect enters the picture, it gets trapped into the hair. You can see here the leaf lamina modified into the picture, and it has even hairy like structures, and the insect get trapped into these hairs. So the digestive juices secreted in the picture, they digest the insect. So this way this plant is dependent upon the insect to meet its nutritional value. So next we are going to study about the symbiotic plants. There are few plants that live in association with other plants and share their shelter, nutrients. We call those plants as the symbiotic plant, and this association or relationship, it is also called as the symbiotic association. We call this association as the symbiotic association or symbiotic relationship. For example, lichen. This is an example of such an association in which algae, in lichens, algae and fungi, they share the symbiotic relationship. The green algae prepare food, and by the photosynthesis, as it is green in color, in turn the fungi, it absorb water and minerals and supply it to the algae. Secondly, example is rhizobium. It is an example of symbiotic relationship. In rhizobium, this relationship, it is also shown, like rhizobium bacteria and the leguminous plants like gram, peas, beans, pulses. Rhizobium bacteria, as we know, it cannot make their own food, but these bacteria live in the root nodules of the leguminous plant, for example, pea or beans. The function is that they convert nitrogen gas from air into the water soluble nitrates, as they are not able to directly absorb the nitrogen present in the air. So in return, leguminous plants give food and shelter to rhizobium bacteria. Here I will show you one diagram of the root nodules of leguminous plants. This is the diagram of the root nodules of the leguminous plants, in which you can see the nodules are there. So basic functions of it is to fix the nitrogen present in the air in the soil. So this nitrogen, obviously it is good for growth of the plants and make the soil nutrient rich. As we just discussed, that symbiotic relationship helps in adding nitrogen in the soil. So we can say like nitrogen is a very important nutrient for the soil, and symbiotic plants, they play very important role in adding nitrogen in the soil. So today we are going to study about the importance of symbiotic relationship in replenishing nutrient in the soil. You must have seen farmers add different manures in the soil. But why manure is required? Why farmers need to add the manure? Why we require this manure? As human being, animals, all living organisms need food, need nutrients for their growth. Similarly, plants also need some nutrients. They absorb nutrients from the soil. With the repeated intake of the nutrients, whatever the nutrients are available in the soil, they will finish at one time. So by this, the fertility of the soil will decrease. So we need to replenish these nutrients. So why manure is required? To replenish nutrients so that more and more crops can be grown. So plants need nutrients. What kind of nutrients are present over there? Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. There are few ways by which we can replenish these nutrients. One is the natural method and another one is the adding fertilizers. One by one we will discuss this. First of all, we are going to study about the natural. Now we'll discuss about the natural methods by which nutrients can be replenished in the soil. In natural method, as we discussed earlier also, like saprophytes, they help in decaying dead leaves and organic matter, and that will convert into the manure. So this is the natural way to replenish the nutrients in the soil. Another method to replenish the nitrogen in the soil is by growing of leguminous plants. So these are leguminous plants like peas, grams. It has the rhizobium bacteria, that is nitrogen fixing bacteria. It lives in the roots of these plants. In the roots of the leguminous plant, rhizobium bacteria lives in the roots of the leguminous plants and converts nitrogen from air into the soluble nitrate form. So this soluble nitrogen, the soluble form of nitrogen, that is absorbed by the plants along with the water, and plants use this nitrogen to prepare proteins. So this way the leguminous plant replenishes the soil and supplies nitrogen to the plants for growth and development. I will show you here one biological process of nitrogen fixing. Here you can easily see, as the plants are not able to absorb nitrogen which is present in the air, so from the atmosphere nitrogen from the air enters into the soil pores, then the nodules. Then nitrogen is taken by the legume and is converted into the protein. So after that, whatever the plant residues, it will return the nitrogen to the soil. This organic matter is decomposed. This organic matter, it's decomposed in the soil, and in the form of the nitrates, like water soluble nitrogen compounds are there. Then the roots will uptake these. So the next method for the replenishment of the soil is adding fertilizers. Farmers spread fertilizers and manure in the field, and even gardeners also sometimes they use manure in lawns or flower pots, etc. These fertilizers, they are the supplement for plants. They are prepared in factories. As we discussed, manure, they are natural substances, organic substances, but fertilizers, they are prepared in factories. They are chemical, using chemicals, we prepare them in the factories. They are water soluble and they contain nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. The nitrogen and potassium, they are very important for the growth of the plant, whereas phosphorus also plays an important role for the growth of the plants, even for the structural strength. Even it also improves the crop quality. So these nutrients from fertilizers dissolve in water and replenish the soil. But if we'll use these fertilizers in excess, it will have lots of side effects. It can contaminate the soil and water bodies which are around that field. So if we'll compare between the manure and fertilizers, natural methods, they are much better, because this fertilizers, they will create soil pollution, water pollution, land pollution. So that manures are the better as compared to the fertilizers. So things are clear to you. We have discussed about the importance of symbiotic relationship in replenishing the nutrients in the soil, and hope the video is clear to you. Read the chapter carefully. Thank you.